Hello, this is Matt. In this video, I'm going to show you some basic features to get you started using your practice tracks with MuseScore. Even if you've never used music notation software before, I'll teach you everything you'll need to make the most of your rehearsal time at home. Let's go ahead and jump right in. By this point, you should have downloaded the zip file for your singing part and installed MuseScore software. The easiest way to open a song file is to click on the file and it will come right up in MuseScore by default. The other way, which I'm going to do right now, is to open MuseScore, go to File, Open, and then select the song file that you want to work with. For one of our examples, I'm going to open the tenor part for Ave Maria. Now once you have it open, you'll see that it doesn't fill the entire screen. If you'd like to make the score bigger, simply go to the bottom. And I usually select page width, which just fills in that extra spot there. If for some reason that's not large enough for you, you can select something even larger, like 200%, and it might make it a little easier for you to read. The first thing you'll want to know is how to play the track. At the top of your screen, you'll see some playback controls. Click the play button. When you first play a file, it will play from the beginning, and you can pause and then continue playing from that point. If you want to go back to the beginning, you'll need to click on the rewind button right here. And then if you click play again, it will play from the beginning. To start playing from a specific point in the music, all you have to do is click on a note where you want play to begin, then click play. So I'm going to go down to the tenor 1 part, click on the first note, and hit play. When you do it that way, you'll hear all the available parts playing at the same time. Now, another thing you may want to do is start playing from a certain point and only hear your part. Now, to do that, all you have to do is select the measure that you want play to begin and then hit play. So at the same spot, I'm just going to highlight the measure and hit play. And as you can see, we can only hear the tenor 1 part. The next thing I'll cover is how to adjust the volume. Click on the volume mixer at the top of the screen, and you'll see the mixer appear at the bottom. From here, you can see the set volumes for each part. You can raise or lower the volume for all parts by changing the master volume slider up or down. By default, the volume for your part will be higher than the other parts. You can raise or lower the volume for the accompaniment instruments. In some cases, you may want to hear the accompaniment a little more to hear the cues, and in other cases, you want it to be quieter while you are learning your pitches. So as you can see for this piece, we have 4 accompaniment instruments, and we can lower those even more if we wish. You can also adjust the pan from the mixer. By default, your part is set to only come from the right speaker, and the other parts come from the left speaker. If you prefer to have your part or any of the parts to come from both speakers, all you have to do is adjust the pan knob to the center, or you can change the value to 0. So if I wanted to change my tenor part to the center, I just change that to a 0, and now I'll hear it from both speakers. Now I'd like to show you how to isolate parts. Let's say you only want to listen to your voice part. On the left-hand side, click on Instruments to see all the available instruments. And then close the eye for any parts you don't want to see. So we're going to close soprano, alto, and bass. I'd just like to leave my tenor part. And I'm also going to close the eye for all the accompaniment parts as well. And as you can see, in what's left is just the tenor part. So that brings it down to just your part. Now maybe you only want to hear your voice part but still have accompaniment. Let's go back over here and we'll open up the accompaniment parts. And now if I play it, I'll hear my tenor part along with the accompaniment. Maybe you want to hear all the voice parts but without the accompaniment. So come back over here and we will open up soprano, alto, and bass. And we'll close out the instrumental parts. And again, I can play it and we'll only hear all the voice parts. And as in the case of our other example here, there are actually a tenor 1 and a tenor 2 line, two separate lines. And since I sing tenor 1, I would want to close the tenor 2 part so that I can isolate my notes and learn the pitches. So I could simply click the eye on tenor 2, and now when I play it back, I'm only going to hear the tenor 1 parts play, along with everything else. And just as a reminder, an easy way to only play your part at any section is to highlight the measure and click play. And you'll only hear that part play. The next feature I'd like to show you is how to change the tempo. It's extremely helpful to slow down the music at times, especially when learning complicated sections. To change the tempo, you'll need to pop out the playback controls menu by pulling down on this button here. When you drag it down, it pops all the playback controls to a separate little window. And you will see this new window has a tempo slider that you can move to the left to slow it down. So if I want to play this piece at 80%, just move it to 80%, and now I can play it even slower. Once you get comfortable, you can go back to normal tempo by sliding it back to the right to 100%. The last tip I'd like to show you is playing individual notes. Sometimes it is helpful to play a single note to hear it by itself. You may have already seen me do this in previous sections, but to play an individual note, you simply click on that note and you'll hear the pitch. Sometimes there are tricky intervals where it would help to hear more than one note at a time. Simply click on each note in sequence to hear the pitch. Now you have tools available to help you learn the music in whatever way is best for you. Don't be afraid to make as many changes as you need to and save it so you can come back to it later. These files are yours to use in any way that you need them. If you make any changes or mistakes, you can always click undo or even reload the original file from the zip folder. If you have any questions at all, you may reach me at the email address listed in the Learning Center and on the website. Happy rehearsing!